Welcome to the Fort St. John Association for Community Living Shining Brighter podcast. We're putting a spotlight on success stories and solutions to the problems of exclusion and apathy in the world of people living with developmental disabilities and complex needs. My name is Jared, and I'm one of your hosts today, and we're joined again with a wonderful guest, one of our superstar staff who we're going to introduce in just a moment. I work with the association as the stewardship manager, and my role is to help tell the stories of the individuals we support and the staff who are the foundation of our work. And as well, I get to invite the community to join us as supporters and contributors to our work so that our mission is stronger than ever. And again, with me as co-host is...
Kelly, what up?
What up, Kelly? Who are you?
I am an individual with the association, but I'm also an advocate on the board for community living.
Yes, and we're not going to lose you today in your nice, bright orange shirt, even though you got a camouflage backpack.
Right.
Yeah. And we are joined by a wonderful guest. Evelyn is with us today, and she has just been longing and waiting for this day to come on the podcast. Evelyn, it's great to have you. And I want to just say, I appreciate you being one of our most loyal viewers of our podcast, because Kelly and I sometimes wonder, are we just doing this and then there's nobody who actually watches? Although I will say, I think we're averaging right now, our episodes are about 30 views. So thank you to our 30 viewers. And thank you, Evelyn, for being one of those viewers. It's good to have you with us today. How are you doing, Evelyn?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's a beautiful day.
It is. It is a nice day. It is a Friday. Who knows when this episode will come out. But right now, today, it's a Friday. Evelyn, how did you first connect with the association? And how long have you been dreaming about being on a podcast?
My connection story is underwhelming. I worked in the restaurant industry for a lot of years, and I had been unemployed for about a year. I was staying home with my kids, and I decided that I was going to start looking for work, and I wanted something that was more fulfilling. My husband seen a job ad on Indeed for a support worker, and he says, you should apply. I was like, there's no way. And back then I thought, like many people did, it takes a special person, and I am not special. So I put it off, and he really pressured me into it. He's like, I think you'll be really good there. So I applied and got hired on the spot, and I'm forever thankful for my husband pushing me.
That's a fantastic story. Not underwhelming at all. No.
It just, some people are like, I had a passion my whole life and everything else. I didn't really know what I was even signing up for.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know what? Yeah, I am. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to try something completely different, something I've never done before. And I am so thankful.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And we thank your husband for prodding you on. Sometimes it needs that, right? Yeah, I think a lot of people probably, they look and see Association for Community Living and have no clue, what that is, but they're like, I need a job. They have a job opening. Could I do that? I don't know. And one of the things that we're, often talking about on the podcast is you can come into this job from so many different angles, right? We have people that are very passionate about human services. That is what they felt called to. And it just is like, yes, I want that job. And others similar to you are like, I need work. Here's an opportunity. Could I do that? And you show up and you said, now, best decision.
Best decision by far. Yeah.
Why?
Because you have meaning and purpose. There is, there's a goal that you're always working to achieve, and you get to walk beside all sorts of amazing people. You get to meet tons of people. It's a different day every day. There's nothing mundane about this work. And I think most importantly is the connections and the relationships that I've been able to build with the people we support, and the amount that I have learned from each and every one of them.
And that's awesome. And we're going to come back into more about your role. And it's been changing over the last year, but want to learn a little bit more just about you personally, what you're comfortable sharing. And obviously you've just identified how this job is fulfilling a passion maybe you didn't even know you had. But who is Evelyn? What are some of the things that make you tick? Tell us a little bit about your life, family, interests, hobbies,
Sure.
how you handle traffic in Fort St. John when Kelly can't.
What traffic?
Yeah, I know.
I think it's like one of the main reasons why I enjoy living here.
Yes.
So I have 3 children. One is fully grown and lives on her own, and 2 that are still at home in high school. I really enjoy my garden.
Mm-hmm.
I have a greenhouse and I like to grow food, even though I'm not very good at it, but it brings me joy. So
That's the important thing.
Pretty basic life. We really enjoy getting outside, camping, a lot of paddle boarding, ATVing, off-roading. I quite enjoy hiking. I don't do it as much as I'd like to, but when I do get the opportunity, I love just being out in the bush,
Yeah.
in the quiet.
Well, that's
Yeah.
great. Kelly, any questions you have for Evelyn?
No.
No,
You know everything you want to know.
Yeah.
ask them all over the years.
What's here's a fun one we like to ask sometimes. What's something that maybe people don't necessarily know about you that you might be willing to tell us? An interesting fact or story or skill set that you have?
I don't know. I'm such an open book. I am an oversharer on many levels. Some people might not know I grew up on Vancouver Island, and still to this day dream of one day moving back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not from Fort St. John. I've lived here for over 20 years, but maybe people don't know that about me.
Yeah. Because I think you fit right in with your big Jeep and your outdoor adventure lifestyle and your gardening and just liking to keep things simple. That seems
Yeah.
a good fit for Fort St. John, but you wonder if the island might be calling you.
I think the island always called me.
Yeah.
Have you ever visited?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have family down there as well. Fantastic place.
Yeah.
Hard to think about affording to live there right now, but yeah, I've seen it go both ways, right? Where people have left the island, come to Fort St. John because you can afford a home, you can get good employment, and great opportunities to grow your family, but then miss the island's life, which has its own uniqueness, and especially if you have family and so on there. So,
Yeah, and I think Fort St. John, you nailed it. It offers opportunity that most places in British Columbia wouldn't offer, and it's a great place to raise your kids because they are then able to take advantage of that opportunity as well. And there's tons and tons for families, so it's definitely not a bad place to live. Just I miss the ocean.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, what's something you wish Fort St. John had? I don't think we can bring the ocean here, but we've talked about some of the good things. What are some of the things you miss, or that are disappoint you about Fort St. John?
Honestly, the resources. I think living in a northern rural community, getting support you need from either community services, healthcare, all of those things, there seems to be a serious lack of that. Although it sounds like it's across province, I'm not sure. I haven't lived anywhere else but here. But the rural living and the lack of resources for basically anything, any kind of specialist appointment you have to travel for, that kind of stuff. I really wish we could.
Yeah. Wheelchair
Get
mechanics,
more
right, Kelly?
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
We've talked about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or lifts too.
Yeah.
I think it's the
Yeah.
same people, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they take care of the entire north, so it's sometimes really
Difficult.
long waits. Yeah. For sure.
So those are realities and challenges, and we talk about them regularly. Having lived here, how long did you say now?
Oh gosh. 20 years.
Yeah.
It's just over 20 years, yeah.
What would be ideas you would have to help us overcome some of those challenges?
That requires a lot of brain power. I do believe Northern Health is working on offering different incentives and, yeah, I mean, I think educating people about what Fort St. John does have to offer, because oftentimes when you see it, it seems underwhelming, or people are like, oh, it's just a small town way up north and there's nothing there, or, the winter. A lot of people are scared of the winter.
The winter, yeah.
Yeah, I think sharing more about what great opportunities Fort St. John has and what we do have to offer would be helpful, possibly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have that answer.
I think that's a good idea. And often I think we look at the city, and the city does a pretty good job, with their communications and their marketing and so on, and different initiatives they do to try and draw attention so that people see Fort St. John for the opportunity and the benefits and the lifestyle you can develop here. But I think there's a place for organizations like ours, for businesses, to probably do a better job of promoting and advocating being in Fort St. John as well, right? And not just kind of throwing our hands up and be like, somebody else, do this work to bring us, people that really want to be here, or, share the good news. So with that, I think we're going to nominate Kelly to be a spokesperson. How do you feel about that?
I don't know.
If you could try and incentivize people to come to Fort St. John, what would you focus on?
The fact that it doesn't take half an hour to get places like it does when you live down on the coast.
Yeah, so you're gaining time back.
Mm-hmm.
And time is precious.
Exactly.
So there you go. Yeah, exactly. So you came into the organization fairly new. You hadn't studied for it. So you came out of the restaurant industry, which I think is excellent training ground for being in human services, because you're in hospitality and customer service, front facing very directly. But it's a very different, clientele, for a lack of a better term, in the immediate. What was the experience like coming? What was your first role in the association, and how did that experience go?
Yeah, so I started as a casual support worker, as most people do within the agency, and I worked in some of the houses. And it was incredible. My very first shift was a night shift, which was different for me. I'd never worked an overnight shift before. And yeah, I got home that morning and I was just jazzed. I was like, this is so cool. I'm so excited to go in on my next shift and meet everyone when they're awake and get to know everyone. And yeah, I was hooked instantly.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is the best job ever. And yeah, so I worked in the houses as a casual for about a year, I would say, probably. And then I started applying for full-time positions once I got to kind of test the waters, I guess, and all the different programs, which is the best part about being a casual, is that you get the opportunity to learn about different programs. Yeah, so I applied for a full-time position in the Community Connections program. And yeah. I don't know if you want me to get into all of the positions I've held within the agency.
You've had a few, yeah.
I've had a couple, yeah.
Well, and I think that is a neat thing in a story like yours, right? Like you said, most people coming in, casual is kind of the entry point, and it's a good way for you to explore and see different parts of the organization. But it's an organization that has development paths, that has opportunities for new experiences, for growth for yourself, new ways to get plugged in and to learn. And that's appealing to a lot of people, right? If you're looking for a career and a job experience where, over the course of 10 years, you are personally going to grow and you're going to learn and you're going to be a part of change, that's pretty exciting. Yeah,
it's really cool. And the amount of learning opportunities that the association offers to staff and is incredible. I just feel like they invest so much into us to make sure that we can do the best work possible and advance if that's the path that you're.
Well, tell us a little bit about that, because I don't know if we've talked about that much. So somebody coming in who doesn't have much experience and might feel overwhelmed by the perspective of working in social service, what does orientation and training and development look like? What are some of the types of training that someone brand new could expect, or people who are just starting with the organization, what they can look forward to help them get more confident and comfortable in their roles?
Yeah, for sure. So we do have like our minimum standard of training that has to be met before you get hired, right? You have to have your first aid, which the agency would then help you maintain as you go on. But coming in, you need to have your first aid. So there's, those kind of things. We do a lot of education very early on about medication administration and what that looks like. We do a full day course on medication administration. All of our staff are required to have, and we do provide with CPI, so it's Nonviolent Crisis Prevention and Intervention, which is a super cool course. You learn a lot about supporting people on their worst days and how to do that in a person-sensitive way. It's really great. Then, of course, we do offer ASSIST training, which is Applied Suicide Intervention training. We run that about once a year. We would like to run it more, but and that's available to anyone who's interested in taking it, and then mandatory for certain programs that we work in. And then the agency just really strives, like every year we do the
Staff Development Days.
Staff Development Days.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm freezing here. And each year has been different people coming up and learning stuff. And you were part of the last one, hey?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
It was okay.
It was okay.
It's probably a different perspective, right? Because you're not the staff delivering the services.
Yeah.
You're just supervising the staff who are delivering services for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just, and that's why I was curious about your input on it, because you got to kind of see what the agency invest into the staff that then can better your life too, right?
Well, and I think that's good. So you listed off a good list of training that's available, and that's a lot of it expected as well. Yeah. Kelly, what would be things you think that could be added, or that would be help to improve staff's training, onboarding, that maybe we're not doing right now?
Well, I think for the training aspect, I think what people need to realize when they're coming into this kind of work is, you're dealing with people's lives, and you're in their home. And one thing I've also noticed is like sometimes I think people have a hard time with certain aspects of the job, like the personal care or things like that, when they're not used to it. And what they need to realize is it's just as uncomfortable for us as it is for them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I always appreciate that, and remind me, I feel like maybe we've talked about it, and Evelyn, you can maybe confirm when staff are coming in, and this is a unique thing too. I acknowledge that I didn't come in as a casual, so I haven't got all the same experience, although I'm continuing to learn, and I'm getting to do an orientation shift pretty soon, I think in a week or so, which I'm excited about. Do the staff, the new staff, spend any kinds of intentional time with supported individuals to learn from them? Like someone like Kelly, I think we've talked about that. I don't know if Kelly wants to be delegated to be part of the orientation experience or not. But, we provide these tactical trainings, but what about the relational side of things? What does that look like when you're coming in?
Yeah, so when you come in brand new, you do shadow shifts, right? So you're working with one of the more senior staff in whatever program it is. And it's so program specific and person specific, right? So like I could sit here for hours and kind of detail, and I'm not going to, right? Because it really truly depends what program you go into as to exactly what that looks like. But we have a lot of like documentation and stuff that people can read. I strongly advise that people don't make assumptions on the people that they're supporting just simply off of what they read. you need to spend time with someone. And
Yeah.
so you're given that opportunity when you're being shadowed by the full-time staff. You get to do the work, but you have a staff member with you to make sure that you're doing it correctly. And then you're also making sure that you're listening to the people that you're supporting and you're doing it the way they want to do it.
Yeah, because sometimes if you're just going off the paperwork sometimes gets it wrong.
Mhm.
It misses a really big piece,
Yeah.
right? Like we can write down the steps on how to complete certain tasks that need to be completed, but it really misses the person
Yeah.
in it. And that's where, in my opinion, is the most important part about learning the job.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So what's your role now?
My role now, I am a community services manager. So I oversee all of our community-based programs. So we have our employment programs, our inclusion program, we have a supported independent living program, and home share.
So just a small portfolio of responsibility.
It's tiny. Yeah. I have a really great team that I work
Yeah.
with, so it sounds like a lot, but
Well, tell us about that. What does your team look like? How's the makeup there?
so each program has a supervisor, which if anyone's watched the podcast, they've met Sarah. She is a inclusion and employment supervisor. Our supported independent living program has 2 supervisors. One is fairly new. She's learning. She's amazing. They're both absolutely incredible human beings, and I'm hoping that they come out here. And then we have a home share coordinator as well. So I am there more in the background of things, supporting those supervisors and their teams.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, what does your job then entail? What are kind of your main responsibilities? Even though you've got this broad portfolio, like you said, you've got supervisors who are more directly involved in the day-to-day. What do you get to do?
I don't think anyone wants to listen to what I get to do in a day. No, my main role, honestly, is just making sure that those supervisors have the tools that they need to do the work that they need to do. And if they don't, finding a way to get them those tools and being just there to support them and help them through their day-to-day stuff. I do a lot of other boring stuff that we don't need to talk about. But
And who helps you? Who do you report to?
I report to the lovely Tanya Neal,
Yeah.
who she's been on.
Yep,
Yeah.
she was on.
Yeah.
Yep.
So she is who I report to, and she oversees the managers of all of the services programs. So
I think it's just helpful to know, again, people learning about, getting familiar with the organization. We have a robust structure of leadership and support. You know, the work happens and it might seem like it just goes, but there's a lot behind the scenes of thinking, planning, executing, providing oversight to ensure that the highest level of excellence is fulfilled in our work, and it can't just happen on its own.
That's right.
Yeah, it needs a strong team, and I think too, we really are grateful for the support of the community, for our board members, for supporting businesses and organizations, and I think groups like that are external stakeholders want to know when they are going to be contributing, whether it's giving a contract, whether it's making a donation, whether it's just helping to share our message, that this is an organization they can trust.
Yeah.
This is an organization that does what it says it's going to do, and there is competent and caring people that are involved in doing it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think our whole team, I've never worked with a group of people that are so passionate about the work that they do and so passionate about making sure that people get to live the lives they want to live. And it's really, really great to see it because, and oftentimes when, and in the growth that we've experienced over the last few years, you end up with people that might not have that same vision, and somehow we've managed to build this team that is all so aligned with each other. It's really cool to watch. Yeah.
So tell us about that. The programs that you work with and help support, how do they fit into the overall mission of the association?
Well, mine are all community-based programs, which is it is our mission, right? Is to support with community inclusion. We throw that word around a lot. you guys already talked about that. But, so all of my programs are based in the community, whether it be people living independently in the community. Our home share program is fantastic, and shameless plug for them. It's a great opportunity for people to join us in our mission in a kind of a unique way. So, getting to share your home, again, community integration. You get to share your home and your lives with someone. Our community inclusion program is all about getting people out and learning about different interests and different hobbies, or, volunteering in the community. They have groups that go out and volunteer from different places. So it's really all about just getting out there and finding your place in the community. So it's very, very closely aligned with our mission. Well, if not, is our mission. Yeah.
And it's an interesting place for my perspective as a stewardship manager. So I work a lot in marketing and messaging, and there's sometimes I put a lot of emphasis on wanting to kind of broadcast and promote our work so that people are more aware of it. So I've thought about our big vans, getting them all deckled up so they're like driving billboards. And there's a bit of a tension in that because, yes, I think the community needs to know and should know about what we're doing in our organization. But there's also a real beauty in what your team does, that anybody in the community, you're going to the grocery store, you're going to the hockey games, you're going shopping, and you're crossing paths, you're interacting with people we support and not thinking anything of it, which is how it should be, right? Because you're included. They're part of the community. They're the ones serving you at the grocery store. They're the ones cheering for your favorite hockey team. Like it's just, we're neighbors.
Right.
And yet, because of the different circumstances and situations, without a person like Evelyn and her team, those opportunities wouldn't exist. And so I think that's what we want to see. We want to see that idea of inclusion so that there's no differentiation, and yet it requires high levels of intentionality to actually execute that and have it happen.
Well, for sure. I mean, we don't. Yeah, no, I agree, and I think that it's really important to remember, like, all this work that we do. That is our main mission. Is it's not like, let's put a flag up and say, hey, I have a disability and I need to belong in a community. That's not what we're looking at. It shouldn't matter that you have a disability. You shouldn't have to,
You should be treated equally and seen as a regular human being.
Exactly.
Because, shocker, you are. We're all people. We all deserve a place within the community, and we all deserve the same opportunities. Yeah. And so it's hard because you're right. You don't want to just be out there and being like, we're here, look at all this. Mm-hmm. I don't want to sit here and brag about the work we do. In a perfect world, we wouldn't even need to do the work that we do, right? Mm-hmm. But
what's your assessment on how we're doing? You've worked in the organization for a while, and you've talked about some of the change. How are we doing on it?
I think we're doing incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started here in 2018, and the growth over the last time, really bad at math. Help me out, Kelly. 7 years? It's been 7 years.
I'm not a mathematician either, so.
Don't fault us, audience.
Over the last 7 years, the amount of growth has been astronomical. I don't know what the actual statistics are, Jared. I'm not sure if you do, with how much growth we've experienced. But, in my role prior, I can use that. I was the supported independent living supervisor. And when we started that program, I think we had 5 people that were supported through the independent living program. And now we are at, I believe, 17. And
that's about a year and a half, right?
A year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's just the one program. And with Jordan coming on board and housing being a really big piece of that, the projects that we have in the works right now, the Terrace Community Center, we've been talking about doing something like that for years, at least the last 5 years. So to see that come into fruition is huge. I don't know. How do you think we're doing?
We're doing okay. Yeah.
I mean, you've been around longer than I have.
Yeah. God, you make me feel old.
I'm not saying age-wise, just.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. No, I think we're doing good, and Jordan's doing some good work.
Yeah.
You know, making a difference, which is good.
Yeah, I feel we're on a pretty good track right now to hit our strategic goals. I mean, we're coming up on the end of our strategic plan, and as we go through it, we're
making a new one.
Yeah. Well, there's always going to be one, but as we're looking at the previous goals that we had set, if you want to measure it by that, we've done an amazing job at achieving those goals. And people seem happier too. I've noticed, I've noticed a serious increase in the positivity and the cohesiveness of the team. I've seen a big difference in the people that we support, and all around it feels like we're in a really good place, and I'm really excited to see where we go next.
Well, and I think it's one thing to talk about, our staffing and our leadership structure and our training. At the end of the day, like we talked about, it's the individuals we're supporting. That's the be-all, end-all. That's the focus. That's why we're here. Do you have any bright stories? That's the Shining Brighter podcast. Any bright stories from some of the programs you're connected with that you want to share with us?
I have so many. I have seen so many things, and we talk about how there's these big, huge, monumental things that happen in people's lives that we celebrate all the time, and there's so many just little things that I couldn't pick one. I think that we are so honored to be able to walk beside people in their lives and help them achieve greatness all the time, that it's almost a daily occurrence. We're always celebrating something with someone. I've seen a lot of people come into some of the community programs that are just down and out. They're in the most recent video, I think Sarah talks about her daughter.
Yes.
And what that was like for her daughter after graduation, and thinking that there was nothing more for her, and where her daughter is at now. She's crushing all of her goals. And so those stories and these people, it's daily. Yeah. It's what keeps us going, and it's what I think it reminds us on a regular basis why we're here, right? Because oftentimes we can get lost in the paperwork and in the job. So it's really important for us to be like, hey, this is why we do what we do. Yeah. Right? So I honestly can't pick one. I can't.
I think there's some good examples, and we put that plug in. If you're watching this podcast, you're right now on our YouTube channel, and you can go over and you can see the video, the 65 years of inclusion, the FSJACL story. And it tells a couple really great personal stories of what the work of the organization has meant for families, for individuals. I had a conversation with a mom recently, similarly, just saying, after high school, what happens now? And there's kind of this void, there's this gap. Kelly, we even talked about early on with you, right? Like your mom was like, what do I do with this grown man in my house? But he needs supports, and, connecting you with the association and how that's opened up, a life of independence in its own uniqueness for you. And so this mom just shared what a difference that had made. Now, those are amazing stories, and we love to celebrate those. And yet we also acknowledge, and we talk about the growth and the change. There's a lot of families out there who are concerned, who are worried. Their kids are in the school system right now, getting the supports there, but they're coming into high school, they're looking ahead, and they're maybe not sure. What does it look like for my family member to make that shift out of school and kind of into, everyday life? Can you speak to that a bit? How we can help with that transition? what does that look like for someone who's like, I would love for my family member to get to experience that, but how do I do that? Yeah.
And it's funny that you brought that up, because that's been an area that we have identified that needs a lot of work. I think that transitioning from youth into adult life and adult services is a bumpy road, and it's hard to navigate. And there's been a lot of talks amongst us on how we can help support families with that transition and what that could look like. Ultimately, you need to, when your child is in high school, make sure that they have the proper assessments and that they are able to meet the criteria for Community Living BC, who is our main funders. And once you have completed those assessments and whatever, and reaching out to CLBC and working with them on transition is really, really important. And you can start, your transition stuff with PWD, and CLBC, I believe around the age of 16, you can start filling out that paperwork and kind of putting it forward, but it's quite a process. And like, we have families that come into us on a regular basis. We've actually created kind of a cheat sheet, rather, of how to get services through us, because it is all through Community Living BC. So that is your first step, is always reaching out to them. Our local office is located in Dawson Creek. They're pretty great team over there. There's some pretty fun people, and that's really your first step, is making sure that you reach out to Community Living BC.
Are most people connecting through their websites? Are they phoning them? Are they emailing? Kind of what's most effective? Kind of any of those
I would
means?
say calling them would be the most effective, because you're on the voice. I actually don't know how people communicate with CLBC, if I'm being honest, because I think that's common misunderstanding. Our agency is not CLBC.
Yeah. We'll give you the information and direct you to who a good contact would be. It was kind of fun at our 65th anniversary just recently. We had people who were like, hey, the Association for Community Living, we're promoting this event. They came out and they're like, I think your organization can help my family. And we happen to have one of our contacts at CLBC at the event. And we're like, hey, come meet this person. They're the ones you first need to talk with. And once you've gone through the process with them, then the referral comes back to us, right?
Right, yeah. And part of that process is also choosing what supports you want. So CLBC will give you kind of a list of all of the supports that are available in Fort St. John. And then you actually get to choose, like, the person too. It's not the family, it's the person that's coming into service gets to take a look at what everyone has to offer, and then you get to choose. Once you choose who you want to use supports through, that's when the referral would then get sent. So it's quite a process. It's not as easy as one would think. And I'm hoping that through some of the work that we're doing, that we can try and make that a little easier on people.
And is that process ongoing? Like, Kelly, are you still involved in navigating that, or is it kind of like a one and done?
It's a one and done kind of thing.
Yeah.
Does CLBC ever reach out to you and just kind of see how you're doing? Or they're not involved in your move or anything?
No, they're. I mean, I've gotten in contact with, like, this one lady named Gracie who But other than that, no, I don't really have much contact with CLBC. So.
Yeah. And again, I think it's person specific, right? Because a lot of people ebb and flow through life, and they might require more support at certain times, and then they might not really need much support at all. And that's when CLBC would become involved again, is if your support needs change, whatever that might look like. They are the ones who are in charge of how much funding you receive. So as much as, and it's probably a good thing, because with the team that we have, we would be...
Drain the coffers.
We absolutely would, because we want what's best for everyone,
yes.
Right? And we're very strong advocates for the people that we support when it comes to that. But ultimately, it's their choice. They tell us how many hours each person gets support for. And
It's a
stuff.
bit of a dance, isn't it? Like,
It is.
I think, we often talk about the constraints that seem to be in place when we're dealing with government funding and agency, and yet the realities of that. But then we, on the other hand, as a independent, localized nonprofit, bring our team, our expertise, and our creativity to that problem to try and present the best solution possible within the constraints, within the lack of resources that we have, so that at the end of the day, as good of results and outcomes, present themselves. So they don't present themselves. We deliver on them.
Yeah, that's what we do. I was
Yeah.
just saying to my husband the other day, it's like, if you ever have a problem, it doesn't matter what the problem is. If you ever have a problem, take it to my work. I was like, that's all we do all day.
Oh,
So
that's
we
so
solve
cool to
problems
think.
and we break down barriers. And I'm telling you, if you go there and you're like, this is impossible, I
Yeah.
can't possibly do this.
Yeah.
The amount of brain power that is in our
We
in
should
our office
start.
is,
Not that we already have enough to do, but I'm like, we could double as a consulting agency.
I'm serious. Yeah, like you're like, oh, there's all these barriers to this problem, and I just can't see the end of the tunnel. Like, and it can be any. I'm battling thistle in my garden right now. Like that's sometimes.
There's probably somebody.
2 days later, I had a jug of 3-way in my hand. It's like, oh yeah, I talked to this person. I'm telling you, it's any problem. We're just a bunch of problem solvers. So yeah, we get very, very creative.
Yeah.
We don't. I don't think there's ever been a situation that we're just accept defeat. We won't. We'll power through it, and we'll put our brains together. And we do work very closely with CLBC with the funding.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a really neat thing to watch.
So now we do something that we like to do and stir the pot. So Kelly, here's your opportunity. Evelyn just said we're great problem solvers. What's a problem that you would want to throw out that we would see if we have the resources to solve?
Well, there is one problem I'm kind of facing at the moment. And the problem is like, I'm heading back to school soon, right? And I'm having an issue with trying to get a straight answer out of CLBC about somebody going with me to school.
Mm.
Because I need someone to go with me to school. And it's been kind of a challenge trying to get a straight answer out of them.
Yep.
And it's like, it's right around the corner, people. Come on, let's go.
So
That's
Evelyn,
interesting.
do you think we can solve that problem?
We probably can, but I wouldn't know all the details about what the communication with CLBC is sitting here because I'm not actively involved in your programs.
Right.
But I could absolutely chat with Kenda, and Kenda, our program manager. Shout out to her too. She's got to come out here.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll just start calling
Exactly.
everybody
That's
out.
how we do it. We get one person in the podcast, and then they invite other colleagues. And it's like, if I did it, then you could do it. So yes.
Kenda is so cool. She's so cool, and she works so hard. So like I said, I wouldn't know how to solve the problem because I'm not sure where the barrier lies with the CLBC communication.
Yeah.
But I could look at it. And I
we
can
can
tell
get into
Kenda
that.
I got asked on the podcast to help solve this problem.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
There we go.
the call has been made.
Yes.
I'll chat with her.
And you go to
See what
school
she
in
says.
September, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and I think
September 3rd is when I start.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, we're batch recording these podcasts about like one day a month, and then we pass them out. So the next podcast recording will be mid-September. So we'll see if we figure out the solution, and you can let us know when we get back in the studio in September if we did that. And the end is in sight for Kelly going to school.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
is so cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to being done. I'll be honest. It's been a long road.
But you're excited for criminology because it's going to inspire your horror screenwriting aspirations.
Right?
Oh boy, who knows where we're going to go with that one. Yeah.
So obviously you're going to take a break because you're pretty tired of school. But do you have plans to do post-secondary once you have your diploma?
I would like to try and do film school. I think it'd be fun.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
They got some good ones in Vancouver, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And you might even be able to do it like virtually.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that because, like, I don't want to have to just pick up and move and do all that.
Right.
So.
And I'm pretty sure you can't get across Vancouver in 30 minutes.
No. No. It's not like a pizza. It's not 30 minutes or less.
It's a busy place down there.
Right.
Yeah.
Although we talked about souping up your chair.
Right.
No, there's still going to be traffic.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Another thing, Evelyn, we often like to ask is a myth or misconception that might be out there in the big grand worlds related to the work that we do and the people that we support that you would like to shoot down or provide some more informed thoughts to.
I think a big one for me is that it's a common belief amongst a lot of people that because someone has a disability, they can't do the same things that you or I can do. They can't live on their own, or they can't get a job, or, you know, and that's all a bunch of baloney. I have watched people succeed in life, and again, you know, we're all about breaking down barriers. So if there's a situation where they're like, well, they can't live on their own because X, Y, and Z, it's like, okay, well, we'll fix that, right? If someone wants to live on their own, they're going to live on their own. If someone wants a job, they're going to have a job because they deserve it. They are a part of our community, and never say never, because it's not the case. Yeah. I think that's a big myth in my opinion.
Yep.
And we've done some things that people would assume that you couldn't do.
Yeah.
So
Very good.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Any other questions you have, Kelly?
No, I'm good.
Evelyn, any questions you wish we would have asked you that we haven't asked you yet?
I don't think so.
No?
No, I think it was fun. I was nervous.
You did great.
So, I don't know.
Thanks for coming on. It's been so good to have you, and appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
You're an excellent leader, and you and your team are doing good work. Want you to know that, and we look forward to what's ahead with all of us contributing to it. So, yeah, thank you again, everybody, for joining us and listening to this episode of the Shining Brighter podcast presented by the Fort St. John Association for Community Living. Our mission is to support individuals with developmental disabilities and complex needs achieve full and meaningful lives in our community. And why do we do what we do? It is because empowering people to shine by designing their own lives and reflecting their unique light makes a brighter world for everyone. So show your support and help share the light by subscribing to the show and sharing it with your friends. Take care. We'll catch you all next time. Thanks.
Thank you.